Hello Canterbury and welcome to Canterbury Live on Tuesday the 23rd of June. Now if I told you that I was in a car driving here 3 minutes ago, would you believe me? I'm not telling porky pies. Left the house at 7:30 this morning and like a lot of Cantabrians just got to work, literally OMG. But a big bouquet out to those poor chaps that have all the, the stone and the grit for the road because they obviously are out there very early in the morning. So if you've just started your day, you can have a cup of tea and just relax now, and that's what I'm going to do for the next 30 minutes with you. Rightio, speaking of ice though and black ice around the city, Disney on Ice are heading Christchurch. Disney on Ice presents Dare to Dream. Join your favourite Disney princesses and heroic princes in a classic meets contemporary celebration of 75 years of Disney princess stories. Disney on Ice presents Dare to Dream at the Christchurch Horncastle Arena from the 7th to the 9th of August. Tickets available from Ticketek. That's right, for your little prince or princess, they could head along to Disney on Ice thanks to the team from Disney. Now to win the ticket or win tickets, all you need to do is call through on 3777 033 or go to our Facebook page and leave your details. Make sure you like us and you could be a lucky winner. Rightio. Coming up on today's show, we have a beautiful performance live in the studio from Wardrop, and it's a wonderful track, Desperado. Really looking forward to that. And Phyllis Brown is keeping us on our chakra path, as well as we meet a new face today, Casabella Interiors. Are you looking for that little bit of touch around your home or business and you just can't make up your mind? Then you need Casabella, so we look forward to meeting them. But first up, as promised, yesterday we caught up with Nicola from Nourish, and today she's in the kitchen making a tomato and potato soup.
Soups are a great way to get your veggies over the winter, and today we're going to make an easy tomato soup, which is made from ingredients you will almost definitely have in your pantry or fridge. So something, and this is a really great one on the weekend when there's nothing for lunch and you think, right, let's make a hearty soup. So it is a tomato-based soup, but it's got some potatoes in it and also whatever other vegetable you have. I'm doing celery today, but the potatoes make it lovely and thick. It's a really nice way of making quite a creamy soup without having to add a sort of a too fatty ingredient. So firstly, I just put a large tin of diced tomatoes into the pot, and then I just get some potatoes to match that size tin of tomatoes. I usually use 4 medium-sized potatoes and just cut them up to about that size. Then they tend to cook nice and quickly, and they the soup can be ready in 20 to 30 minutes. So that's the size, and about that many potatoes go into the pot. Then this time I've just got some celery, and just celery I find gives a really lovely flavour to any sort of vegetable soup. So I had some celery, so I thought that can pop in there, and cut the celery up just to pieces about this big and pop them in as well. So the other ingredient I've got in here is some stock. Now this looks a bit of an unusual stock one here, but this is actually from a chicken that I've roasted, and this was left over in the bottom of the pan. So I just chilled that down, poured it into a container, and now I can just scrape the fat off the top and use that beautiful chicken stock that's actually been made from cooking a chicken into the soup as well. And it gives that lovely depth of flavour from a stock, and that just freezes nicely. You do that with any roast that you have. Save the juices at the bottom, just pop it in the fridge or freezer, and then you can use it in this way with soups and that sort of thing. Great use of those wonderful juices. So that goes in there too. So I've got all those in the soup here that we've got cooking away, and you can see that all those vegetables are cooked really nicely. The celery is softened up, and so has the potato. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a blend, and then we will serve that up. So I've just got a blender here. Just need to put that in nice and deep. Right. So that's a lovely creamy soup there. I'm just going to serve up that lovely thick tomato soup. You could add a little bit more liquid if you needed to, but I love it lovely and creamy like that and nice and thick. It's a really hearty soup. So just pop that in there. Now what I'm serving it with today is just some toasted ciabatta bread. I'm just going to pop that on the side there. And it looks really lovely with a little bit of parsley on the top, just a bit of green, really goes well with that red. So if you wanted to make a nice big pot of that, I don't think it would last long anyway, but if it does last an extra day, it's great to freeze this in a freezer bag. You can make individual serves in a bag about this size, and you'll find they get pinched out of the freezer for lunches, weekend lunches, school and work lunches. They're just perfect for that sort of thing. So there we have it. Great way to get you 5+ a day in the winter, and great for the freezer too if it lasts that long.
Well, thanks to Nourish, we have a nice tomato and potato soup to warm us, but we need something to warm our soul. You can be sure that Phyllis Brown can step in and do that for us. Hey Phyllis, how are we doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. Good. Now, today we're going to be talking again about our chakras, but around death.
Yes, we are. So we
not in a morbid way.
Not in a morbid way,
no,
because we started with the topic that, the chakra system is where spirit meets matter. So the spirit comes into the physical body through the chakra system. So it's only logical to have that perception that, that it exits the body through the chakra system. And it's where our spiritual life force is contained. It's contained within the chakra system. That's what keeps us going on our day-to-day spiritual lessons or challenges that we have. We've got to sort of build on that process and keep our learning going.
So quite true that the chakra system takes us through our life and our afterlife.
And it does indeed, yes it does.
Rightio. And we've got an image that's going to come up as well. So what happens to the chakra after our death? Can we expand on that?
The chakra system itself, it just diminishes. So at the point of passing over, the chakras which are in that lovely image there, they just start to fade, or they start to shrink, or they start to diminish. And it starts as a process of diminishing one by one. So the chakra system will just lose its light or lose its energy until we're left with the heart connection. And the heart connection is that process where the soul would then exit the body. So at that point of passing, there are different ways in which the chakra system can be prepared for that sacred moment. So whether it's people praying for that person at their point in passing, or even just the last rites being given to you. And I remember I was very, very ill as a child, and I always remember the priest standing over and giving me the last rites. It's a very stark memory, it's a very stark moment. I was very conscious of that process. And there are some religions in which, or some cultures, let's say, where the chakra system is really very revered. So a shaman, would come along, a holistic doctor would come along and prepare the soul, the spirit of the body for the exit process from the physical being.
Even like the Egyptians with the penny, is the penny on the eyes?
Pennies on the eyes.
Pennies on the eyes, yeah.
If we think of the South American countries, Peru, and all along the Amazon, the shamans there, they do a rite of passage for the spirit to leave the soul, and you can see that connection going. I think the thing to think about in the whole grief process or the dying process is that the chakra system itself, we create links of connection. So we have a connection in our friendly, energy that exists between us or resides between us. And so for partnerships that have been long-lived partnerships, when you're seeing your partner going through a death process or their final process, that cord can be quite a painful process, it can be quite a hard process. So for some people, the grief process, just with that disappearing of the disconnection of the cord from the chakra to chakra, from one person to another, it can really be really sort of painful, and that's why the grief process for an individual is individual. There's no formula or, you know, timed process, you know, depending on their connection and what that chakra connection is between that couple or that family connection. It can be quite devastating. Whereas other members of the family, they can bounce back quicker, but they maybe haven't had that intimate relationship.
Right. That's exactly right. Because also you do see in couples that have been together for years and years, there could be a quick passing of between the two of them.
Exactly. And sometimes the chakra system is such a complex system, so that the connections that we make on an individual basis and the connection we have with ourselves as well in doing our own spiritual healing, just that devastation, you know, people do die of a broken heart. It's where, you know, the overwhelming grief process within the chakra is just too much, and the chakra system will just fade away, and so therefore the will to live, or that, you know, all these phrases that we hear, that can help the process along a little bit faster, unexpectedly.
And along that grief process, though, it's such a hard thing to approaching someone that's lost a loved one, what to say sometimes, isn't it?
It is, because sometimes we're frightened to talk about the whole process. Sometimes we're frightened to mention that person's name. Sometimes they're maybe just in a place where they're just in denial, or they're in shock that there has been a death. However, remembering the person and talking about the person is a good way of coping with their passing, and remembering the good aspects. I remember I was grief-stricken at the loss of my grandfather, absolutely grief-stricken, because he was the fatherly figure that I really didn't have, having lost my father at such a young age.
It's because you lost your father
at the age of 4.
At 4, and that is just,
So when he passed away, I remember going to see a psychic, because I just was so distraught. And he was a very typical rough Glaswegian. And I won't say it in Glaswegian because you won't understand what I'm saying, but he would sort of say, "Why are you crying? Look at this photograph of your grandfather. He is smiling at you. Smile at your grandfather and remember the happy times." And I thought, well, yeah, that is right. So for me, I started looking at that photograph and thinking, well, that was a really lovely memory. It was a happy memory, and that's the memory I have of him, of the happy times. And sort of just turning your grief process from the sense of loss to still feeling connected. And that's really where spirit comes in, and it's supported through the chakra system. It then exits the body, and then we have that eternal continuum, or reincarnation, or life ever after, whatever it is that you want to call it. In Buddhism, it is the mental continuum. The spirit continues on and on and on. So people would come to me and maybe want to connect with a loved one. I might not be quite as rough as my Glaswegian chap, but I will say, well, look, remember the happy times, remember that, their energy, their life force is still in existence. So as you connect to that through thought and love and compassion, then you can feel their energy or have a sense of their presence, because they're now spiritual, they're that lovely energetic being.
Right, yeah, some beautiful things to think about there, but definitely that connection will always be there. And last week, of course, we had a healing, that packs to give away, and we've got the winners that are going to come on screen now. We had 4 of them, there they are there. So congratulations to you all. You have won those beautiful healing kits. Thank you so much for that.
You're
now,
welcome.
Our card, quickly before we go.
Yep, the quick card is the Stellar Gateway, and this is the oneness. This is the spiritual connection that we have. So our connection to oneness is always there. We're never disconnected from spirit. Send your thoughts out to your loved ones.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And the love just keeps on giving, because after the break in the studio, we have the beautiful Graham Wardrop with Desperado. See you soon. There's never a better time than not to have Graham Wardrop in the studio, and we've got him again live today with his version of Desperado.
Thank you, Andrea. Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences for so long, and you're a hard one. I know that you've got your reasons, but these things that are pleasing you will hurt you somehow. Don't you draw the Queen of Diamonds, boy, she'll beat you if she's able. The Queen of Hearts is always your best bet. It seems to me some fine things have been laid upon your table, but you only want the ones that you can't get. Desperado, well, you ain't getting any younger. Your pain and your hunger are driving you home. And freedom, well, that's just some people talking. And your prison is walking through this world all alone. And don't your feet get cold in the wintertime? The sky won't snow and the sun won't shine. It's hard to tell the nighttime from the day. You're hiding all your highs and lows. Ain't it funny how the feeling goes away? It goes away. Desperado, why don't you come to your senses and come down from your fences and open the gate? It may be raining, but there's a rainbow above you. You better let somebody love you. Let somebody love you. You better let somebody love you before it's too late.
Beautiful. Thanks, Graham. That was just too beautiful. Wow. From Desperado, you may be desperate for some love and attention in your home, in particular your interiors. Thank goodness for Casabella, who joined me after the break. Rightio. Now, our interiors of our home really show us a bit about ourselves, but how about if you just have really no idea how you can shift your home to the next degree? Well, thank goodness for Casabella Interiors, in particular Karen Smith, who joins me today. Welcome to Canterbury Live, Karen.
Oh, thanks, Andrea. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
no, and I'm really looking forward to us going forward, because you're going to be coming in and giving us tips and pointers for our homes and our businesses, aren't you?
Yes, and what I'm seeing is there's so many things out there for people to choose from, and part of my reason for being on the show is to actually give people some guidance.
Yeah.
And take them through a little bit of a process on why they could or should choose various things.
It's a little bit overwhelming, isn't it? Because there's so many gifty shops and bits and pieces and things like that, and we think they're all lovely, but maybe they may not work really in our home.
What I'm finding is a lot of people start at the end, if you know what I mean by that. So they've already found what their like objects are going to be, vases and whatever, and I sort of say, well, hang on, we haven't chosen the furnishings, the carpet, the kitchen, anything, so we've got to do it in the right order. And interior design is about layering, so you start with a big shell and then you dress it from the floor up. So the first thing you find is the carpet, tiles, timber floor, what have you, and then you work with the more permanent things like the kitchen, which is going to be there for a long time. And then the colours kind of go out from there and the style. So you're also working with the architectural style of the home as well.
That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, if you've got a traditional home, putting a contemporary kitchen may not work in that.
Yeah.
But you made a really good point there, is I think people that it's easy to go and buy a vase, isn't it? It's a bit harder thinking about floor and things like that. But so you're there to can step us through the right process.
I think the key thing is that in a successful interior, everything connects, and you have you have some features. I'm quite keen on some features, not masses of features. That's the key.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Because a few years ago it was a trend to have a feature wall, wasn't it, and things like that, and lots and lots of colour. What are you finding now?
Well,
what are people looking for?
Well, exciting for me, Andrea, because I'm getting to choose wallpaper. There's just wallpapers everywhere, and the New Zealanders actually follow the European styles. So, it's so exciting. I mean, there's some gorgeous stuff. So now we don't necessarily paint a feature wall, we're wallpaper. So we can get some pattern or some texture or something in there, which, I mean, that's just great. Paint can look reasonably flat sometimes, but then it's all about the home and the style. So a very architectural home is probably going to have white walls and be quite slick. More
white walls, scary. little people and white walls.
Oh yes, yes. We have to look at that sort of thing too, because in fact choosing paint is very, very important, because you need paint you can wipe, especially if you've got a young family and you've got white walls.
Crayons. Been there, done that. That's fantastic. So once we've actually, engaged with, say, Casabella, or we've found our interior designer, it really is a conversation that you need to have. Bring along your wish lists and all the bells and whistles, but then reality is, I suppose that's where you step in as an interior designer and bring a bit of reality.
My feeling is that for me, I like to have a set of plans in front of me. I'll often meet the architect as well to get his philosophy and why he's done certain things. I'll also go out to someone's home if they're doing repairs or renovations or extensions, and sometimes I'm using pieces of furniture and things that they already own. So it's
cool.
important that whatever happens, we can reuse them, but in a good way.
Reuse,
so
that's a new word, not, or is it not recycling? Reuse.
Upcycle.
Upcycle, and I love that too. And of course, people do in reality have budgets as well. Hey, I'm so excited by this. I love your passion, and I just can't wait to see. And I'll put my hand up. We're building, so I'll probably need a bit of love in my house too, where to go with that. But awesome meeting you, Karen. So here is Karen's details: Casabella Interiors and Furnishings, and she has a wonderful website. It's casabella.co.nz. Have a fantastic day, take a breather, and if you manage to get to work now, well done to you. You just got to go home now. Have a fantastic day, and on the show tomorrow we meet some dancers who are off to Disneyland. Yes, they are, and Purple Patcher. And have a fantastic Tuesday. We'll do it all again tomorrow.